The president has been hard at work coming up with all sorts of nonsense to distract us from the Epstein files, including, I don't know if you saw this, but he made a major announcement. I am ordering my administration to declassify and release all government records related to Amelia Earhart. Her final tip and everything else about her. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We had no attention to that matter. Unless her final flight was to Epstein's Island, no one cares.
First, you know how Donald Trump has always sued everyone and everything at all times everywhere? Well, some of those claims were against the Department of Justice, who, during the Biden administration and before, made the fatal mistake of doing their jobs.
I've been covering this guy for years, so I can tell you that when the clock strikes midnight, you can feel it in your ribs. There have been many one-liners and monologues, but what Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert just did wasn't typical. The swing was well-coordinated. The same night, two shows crossed streams, and the outcome was precisely what they had predicted. A precision hit designed to make the president crazy. You could sense it in the way he spent the following 24 hours hooked to his phone, hear it in the audience pops, and see it in the timing.
And his claims, he got a bunch of claims. Some of his claims are over investigations into his Russia ties and the seizure of hundreds of classified documents from Mar-a-Lago's highly secure guest bathroom. Okay, he didn't like that. He got really mad, so okay. Now, of course, after he became president, all the cases against him were dropped. But that's not enough. The man wants his money, don't make him put his rings on. Specifically, Trump wants the DOJ to pay him $230 million, which, from the sound of this audience, is obviously ridiculous. But since he won the election, technically, as president, he could now, in effect, order the government to pay him.
This was a plan, not simply a nice little. Please think about becoming a member, which starts at just $9 per month if you truly want to support independent journalism. This will help us provide better content for you. Even before he left, Kimmel's Brooklyn Week had that live electricity. Sharper edge, same desk swagger, different city. He then makes the revelation. Tonight, I'm on Stephen's show at the same time as he's on mine. The room seemed to be tilting forward.
My fellow late-night host Stephen Colbert is here with us. That is right. It's the show the FCC doesn't want you to see. We're doing something fun tonight. We're doing something unprecedented tonight. Now, although I think it's unprecedented, I did not bother to check. Tonight, Stephen is a guest on our show. I will simultaneously be a guest on his show. We thought it might be a fun way to drive the president nuts.
While simultaneous guest swaps, the same hour, and distinct boroughs are not unheard of, crossovers and late nights are. Showman chess is what that is. In order for the clip to be broadcast, Kimmel also stated the silent part. We believed it may be an entertaining method to irritate the president. Translation: our defensive game is over. Now we're playing you. Kimmel narrated the restroom anecdote on Colbert's stage. And you understand why it hurt if you've ever worked in television. The tape is in an hour. Everyone is seated. This concludes the warm-up. The band's sound has been tested. The host is also called to inform them that the show has been canceled rather than postponed.
Well, that doesn't seem right. I mean, if you're going to do that, why stop at $230 million? Why not just let him go to Fort Knox, lose the pants, and go Scrooge McDuck into a pile of gold? Just like that. Now, if you're saying a judge would never allow that, oh, you sweet, stupid child. This don't go before no judge. They're administrative claims, which would be settled by senior officials in the Department of Justice who were all appointed by Trump, some of whom actually defended him in these cases that he's suing the Department of Justice over. His own lawyers decide whether he wins. It's like that classic drama, 12 Angry Men Who Were All at My Bachelor Party.
He hears the words no performer wants to hear, and he seizes the only remaining private area, a bathroom. Tonight, we're lowering the temperature. That's corporate jargon meaning we're pulling the plug because we're scared. A chef is getting ready for a cooking program in the meanwhile. A studio full of people is waiting for a comic who isn't coming, and a musical guest is pacing. He booed them over the phone, Kimmel joked. You chuckle because it's ridiculous. Then you see that it's a little scary as well. An audience loses a play that is already in progress when a president pouts and an executive winces.
Meanwhile, Vice President Maybelline was making the rounds, attempting to defend his boss and the chairman of the FCC with a new fairy tale even a 5-year-old wouldn't believe.
Celebrities are rallying to his cause, saying this is a First Amendment assault being carried out by the FCC, Brendan Carr, and by the President of the United States himself. And to that, you say?
Well, there are two things. First of all, I'd like them to tell me exactly what Brendan Carr did to have Jimmy Kimmel taken off the air, because number one, he is currently on the air, and to the extent that he isn't in certain stations, it's because he's not funny and because his ratings aren't very good.
I have some good news for you, J-Dog. We're back on all the stations.
That isn't typical. That is pressure masquerading as caution. Colbert delivered the gut punch in a unique way. No safety net, no teleprompter. He couldn't get the words out clean the first or second time, and he wanted to tell his audience directly that the show was ending months from now. The studio encouraged him, believing it was a trifle. The way you support a father who acts as though he is incapable of opening the pickle jar. Then the cheering ceased, the meaning struck, and the atmosphere shifted. That combines the proudest responsibility and the worst fear for a late-night host.
This is so crazy, even Trump is aware of how insane the situation is. Last week, this was just last week, right? Referring to the initial lawsuits that he filed back before he was president, he said this.
I have a lawsuit that was doing very well, and when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know, how do you settle the lawsuit? I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit, and now I won. It sort of looks bad. I'm suing myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks bad. You sue you, and you get to decide which one of yous wins. I'm guessing you do.
He was still able to accommodate gallows comedy. When they eventually took home the large prize, the triumphant speech included a deadline. The reason it's humorous is that it hurts. Because it's true, it hurts. It was easier to figure out what broke the internet. Colbert inquires as to whether Kimmel ever imagined that a president would rejoice over his dismissal. Additionally, Kimmel responds in the same manner as actual individuals do when they've had enough. That son of it wasn't a stunt. Because the celebration was genuine, it was a clear statement that came without a writer's room and gave you all the information about the week. The caps were secured. Post spiked.
Yeah.
Did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His royal, yes. Yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. It was somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Because the jokes were offensive, he rejoiced for 2 programs to fail and hundreds of jobs to disappear. Bullies act in this way when they believe no one else can see them. Even though Kimmel and Colbert refused to pout, there was still delight in the room when they spotted him. After exchanging stages and matching each other's intensity, they included a third man in the picture. The 3 of them turn away from the audience, smile broadly, and post a caption that says more than a thread ever could when Seth Meyers appears like a cameo.
Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something.
Hello, Donald. 2 words. It's not wrath, therefore the point lands. It's a show of solidarity. It's a guarantee that you will see us all in the picture if you come for one of us. To the man who despises receiving mail that he didn't send himself, it appeared to be a postcard from the resistance sent first class. Kimmel wasted little time in setting the tone upon his return from suspension. I wish more anchors would follow his example. He compared the president to the bully we've all seen in the movies of the 1980s. The sandwich snatcher and lunch money thief.
That's some kind of like endless loop of corruption, like a Mobius grift. It's I think they call it the circle of jerk. Now, is that what they call it? And keep in mind, he may say he's suing himself, but he's not cutting the check. The $230 million would ultimately come from taxpayers. So everyone but him.
The person who, because he can, rips your trapper keeper to shreds and makes fun of your mother's note. According to Kimmel, supporting him is like to supporting Biff. That one succeeds because everyone is aware of the illusion and the rumor that the character was based on a particular type of swaggering avarice. It's not a claim about policy. It's an image that won't leave your mind. Pure logic was the bit that made me laugh out loud.
There's something else that's important here, Laura, which is that these broadcast companies, ABC, NBC, CBS, they enjoy the public airwaves because they serve the public interest. So I actually think that we should be having a conversation about whether these companies are serving the public interest. That's actually totally separate from the Jimmy Kimmel issue because nothing happened to him. He's currently on the air, and to the extent that he's not, it's because advertisers don't like him because his ratings aren't very good.
My ratings aren't very good. Last time I checked, your ratings were somewhere between a hair in your salad and chlamydia.
The only person who would attempt to demonstrate that he wasn't threatening a network by threatening it once again would be Donald Trump. I adore that Kimmel microgenre. After pointing to the cell phone, he lets the audience complete the sentence. A law degree is not required to follow it. 2 brain cells must be open to shaking hands. Additionally, he said that being president is not a ring light as the cheers increased. It's a job. And when the individual in that position prioritizes their work over attention, the nation functions at its best. After months of swiveling the camera to follow a man who treats attention like oxygen, it's astounding how radical that sounds.
The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. No, they weren't. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. That I can't argue with. Shut the up. The freedom of speech is only for me. Do not interrupt the president. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Who puts the network in jeopardy? You hear that? There's the threat again. This time straight from FCC Biscuit's mouth. He goes, he says, I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening ABC.
For his part, when the room seems unsteady, Colbert did what a seasoned host does. He informed his audience that they were all Kimmel for a single evening. He cautioned that you cannot cede even a single inch to a force that would rather keep quiet. He then invited others who could see things from a different perspective than a quarrel. People who have witnessed the first freedom to disappear is making fun of the leader. You don't have to explain it too much. All you have to do is state unequivocally that comedians are not a sideshow in a democracy. They function as a pressure valve. The entire system begins to rattle when the valve becomes stuck.
Tonight, we are all Jimmy Kimmel. I still have a show, though, right? Okay, good. Yesterday, after threats from Trump's FCC chair, ABC yanked Kimmel off the air indefinitely. That is blatant censorship, and it always starts small. You know, remember like in week 1 of his presidency, Gulf of America. Call it Gulf of America. Sure, seems harmless, but with an autocrat, you cannot give an inch. And if ABC thinks... If ABC thinks that this is going to satisfy the regime, they are woefully naive. And clearly, they've never read the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Kimmel.
The president will never comprehend this section. He fertilizes these performances each time he swings. The suspension failed miserably. The number of returns exceeded all expectations. People dislike the smell of a thumb on a scale, which is why the monologue clips went farther than usual. Even fans who dislike Colbert or Kimmel showed up to see what all the commotion was about. That's why suppression doesn't work. Critics become attractions, and attractions become habits as a result.
And you almost have to feel sorry for the people who work for him, who try to clean up the messes. They've been bending over backwards to say, oh, he never threatened. J.D. Vance today made the claim that what the FCC chairman said was a joke, which, I don't know, maybe that was a joke? I don't know. They go to all these lengths to say, oh, it wasn't coercion. The president was just musing. And then the second Trump is alone, he sits on the toilet, he gets his grubby little thumbs on his phone, and he immediately blows their excuses to smithereens and says, it was ratings that got me fired. Has anyone ever been fired for bad ratings on a Wednesday?
The more he babbled about ratings, the more interested the unsure became. Additionally, you win Tuesday once you break a habit. Even if I've said it before, tonight is more important. People cannot be coerced into like you. A network can be strong-armed. A station group is subject to pressure. You are allowed to post about numbers up until the site rate cap. When the line is accurate, you cannot make the audience stop laughing. Colbert and Kimmel said, "We're not afraid," while standing shoulder to shoulder. We're not silent. Additionally, we excel at what we do. The room contains the proof. It is audible in the prolonged chuckle that follows a brief sentence.
The president might actually realize that this don't look great to the taxpayers, so he floated this idea.
As far as all of the litigation, everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity.
Yes. Yes, he might give it to charity. She's a centerfold he banged back in 2006. He's still paying out. I'll tell you one charity he can't give it to, the Donald J. Trump Foundation, because that was dissolved by a court order in 2018 due to a shocking pattern of illegality.
The type of music that continues to play even when the band tries to play you to a commercial. After seeing this dance for years, this is where I end up. Fantasy-based power despises a mirror. Smiling, Kimmel holds out a pocket mirror. Colbert asks the class to look as he holds up a full length. The image is the same in either case. A boss who finds humor offensive will constantly want to outlaw it. Even a nation with more common sense will manage to find a way to laugh.
In 3.5 years, I'm not the one who's going to be doing mascara tutorials on YouTube. How did we wind up with a president and a vice president who wear more makeup than Kylie Jenner and Lady Gaga combined?
And you haven't seen a tyrant attempt to live in a space where the populace no longer fears him, if you believe it to be unimportant. Please do me a favor before we wrap up so that we may continue. To make the signal travel, tap like. In the comments, share your favorite crossover line. Tell me whether the balcony trembled because of the bathroom phone call, the Emmy timing, the Hi Donald photo, or that one unprintable sentence. Additionally, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
So Disney put Kimmel back on because you, the American people, were upset, okay? But not just people, also Ted Cruz. It's true. Cruz was one of the conservatives who were outraged by the administration's attack on free speech.
He threatens explicitly, we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take him off the air so ABC cannot broadcast anymore. He threatens it. He says, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Wow, I gotta say, I am shocked that I agree with Ted Cruz on something.
There are still many jokes that need to be told, and we're only getting started. Every time you post a clip, you help smuggle truth past the gatekeepers. This channel thrives on those moments when truth enters under the form of a punchline. Okay, let's bring the aircraft down. The crossover was more than a gimmick. There was a message. Shows can be suspended. Time slots can be switched around. You can try to frighten executives who prefer their mergers to be clean by flinging government weight around. You cannot stop two professionals from making a terrible week a little better.
We've had a hell of a couple of weeks, but I did get some exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States.